look at this.
Oh, that brings back so many memories.
That beautiful
and
jumpsuit,
all
that
of them
cheeky grin.
Good.
Oh, it's Anneka Rice. I notice she's not turning round, though, because that's the bit we really remember, isn't it? Let's be honest, folks. She's going to chat to us about what this is all about, why she's back, what she's up to, a little bit later on. Thanks, guys. Still to come this morning on Daybreak, talking of running. She's done a bit in her time, hasn't she? And she's on her way to us. My goodness, it can only be Anneka Rice. She's got the moves, she's got the action. She's heading in to the studio as we speak.
In a jumpsuit.
Everything your 15-year-old self dreamed of, isn't it?
And well into my 20s as well, I think. Maybe still to this day. Now, listen, let's move on.
Anneka Rice may be most famous for racing around the country and looking fabulous doing it against the clock in Treasure Hunt and, of course, Challenge Anneka.
She's now got a show on Radio 2. We're back on our screens, on the TV 2 again soon. Before we chat to her, let's take a look at the genius that was Challenge Anneka.
We need 6mm PLY. I don't know, what's PLY? Plywood. Plywood, sorry. I've been given a list, so I'm not exactly au fait with some of these technical terms. Nails.
Nails.
Brilliant, brilliant.
What you don't see is that I actually laughed for about 10 minutes on that clip. I just can't get it together again.
What's so sad is there's a generation of people out there that don't know Challenge Anneka and Treasure Hunt that came before it. It was absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
I mean, why do you think was such an iconic show, Treasure? What do you think captured our imaginations?
That was sort of 30 years ago now.
30 years, I know.
I tell you what it was exactly, because I can look back on it now and sort of be quite objective. At the time, it's just, you know, you're just working. Because at the time, there was just nothing on it. You know, television was very grown up. There was sort of Sue Lawley and, you know, my icons were sort of Sue Lawley and the Dimblebiz and those sort of people. And there was just nothing spontaneous and mad on television. And Channel 4 took a big risk the very week it started with this mad show where totally unscripted. I was an unknown. Kenneth
Didn't even know what plywood was.
I didn't know what plywood was. Never been in a helicopter, let alone one without doors on. You know, they just threw me up. And I think it was just so extraordinarily fresh. You know, after years of very straight sort of television.
And it was so raw as well.
Very raw, and it went wrong, and it didn't matter if it went wrong. It just went wrong, and genuinely we knew nothing. It was so earnest as well. I think Kenneth and I were really, really uncynical.
And trying very hard.
Trying hard, you know. There was no makeup. It was all just very real. You know, I don't know why they don't bring it back with someone else
doing it. Well, they might do, even as we speak. Somebody's thinking, right, that's a great idea. Let's bring it back. They're writing it down.
But make sure it's done in a very real way, with none of the trappings that you'd have nowadays.
So, whose idea was it to wear the jumpsuit?
Well, the programme had been a French idea originally, and there was this very glamorous guy called Philippe Dieuleveux, who presented it in France, and he wore very rough, tufty overalls. So we sort of went on with that.
They didn't film them as well as you did, I suspect, though. Look at that. That's a great shot. We all remember that, don't we, Dan?
Oh, yes, with very fond memories.
That wasn't even I don't know where that came from. That wasn't even one of my jumpsuits. I think that was just...
So you had this great career, you had you've been raising your children, and suddenly you're bursting back onto our screens. Dare I say it, I'm going to do it. I know I promised I wouldn't. She's 53. For heaven's sake, 53, and you're back.
I know, it's very lovely and very unplanned. If you'd asked me 6 months ago, I'd have said, oh, I'm just painting at home, because I'm always covered in paint and doing odd sort of creative projects and busy with the kids. And this has all happened very, very recently, but no, I've started a show on, breakfast show on Radio 2, which is like my dream job, because I started in radio on a BBC, a real BBC apprenticeship. I did 2 years in radio on the World Service, and all over the place.
And you're doing telly too?
And so I feel I've come home. I feel a real warmth and coziness that I've just come home to BBC Radio 2. It's an early start, but I quite like it.
And it's on a Saturday, so you don't have to listen to her and miss us. It's fine. Yes, you can do both. There's no competition.
6 to 8 every Saturday morning. I'd love you to join us. It's very
We're going to have to leave it there.
Yeah, it's so good to have you back. Radio and then TV to come. Lovely to see you. Thanks so much indeed, Anneka. Good luck with it all. Let's get the latest weather now. Here's Lucy.